going on, boys and girls? It's Henry Wallace at Thrifty Used Cars and Tires. Hello, my car dealer friends. All right, we're living a buy here, pay here dream today. Let's talk about what we've done so far and where we're at. The first thing, we covered location. If you want to be a dealer, what kind of location you're looking for. Then we went over what kind of cars you buy. $1,500 and less. What kind of money you try to get down for them. Then we covered payments, which is $75 a week or $150 every other week. Then we went over the part of the program. We don't run your credit. We don't require full coverage insurance. We don't charge no interest or fees. And the next thing we're going to cover today is how we did at my car lot for the month and marketing your car business, okay? Flip this around. The first thing is you got to do is you got to get your name out there when you're marketing your business. And you know, I was a saying when I first started out, people used to tell me there's riches and niches. And where our niche is we don't run credit. We don't we don't make you carry full coverage insurance. We're not charging no interest. So that gives us a big niche. All right. We told you we're buying cheaper cars that we're not paying too much for. That's what we're marketing to. And as you grow, you can kind of grow into other things. And that's what we did. But you want to own that market, you know, because there's so many people that need cheaper cars. That's why you're in that market. It's not for any other reason. Is that you can sell plenty cars because there is an unlimited amount of people who need cheap cars. And especially right now, I'm going to show you my results from my car lot this month. We sold 49 cars. I'll put it up now. Let's just go ahead and say. Sold 49 cars last month, which is up over any other May we've ever been against. I think the busiest May till last month was 41, but we also repoed 33 cars last month. People are having a hard time right now. They're not making their car payments. And with me, I give them a 7-day grace period on their car payment. But after 7 days, I ain't talked to you. We don't have an arrangement set up. We're coming to get our car. You know, and if it's your first payment, you don't even get that long. If you can't make your first payment on time, or if you have a pickup payment, you know, what a pickup payment is, we'll go over that in a second. But if you didn't make your pickup payment on time, we're going to come get our car. So right now, people are having a hard time. And you got, after tax time comes repo season when you're in the buy here, pay here business, okay? And so we sold 100 cars one month. We sold 92 cars the next month. We sold a buttload of cars. But people aren't making their payments. So I go get my cars. You know, 33 repos in a month is strong. And you got to be on top of your repo game. You got to get those cleaned up, market it, and put back out. You know, and the second time go around, you can sell them with a little cheaper down payment because you got a nice down payment the first time. You know, for us, if it's a Louisiana repo, then it costs me a lot more money. I pay, because it's out of state, we pay a lot more money. It costs me about double what it costs to get a repo here in the state of Mississippi. But get those cars and back online. After we repo a car in the state of Mississippi, we got to hold on to it for 10 days and give the customer 10 days to come pay off their note. You can either, and the way the repos work in Mississippi, you can make them pay off the full balance, or you can let them pay what they're behind in the repo fees and then get back in their car. And the way I work it for us is if somebody is repoed, it's their first time being repoed, and they're where they're supposed to. So if they gave us the correct address, the car is where it's supposed to be at, then we'll let them pay the fees for the repo fees. We'll let them pay what they're past due and one payment ahead, and they get their car back. But if the car is not where it's supposed to be, they're living at a different address, then give us the correct information when they bought the car, then they got to pay off the car. I'm not playing with them. I gave them an opportunity by not running their credit. I'm not gonna, I'm not making carry full coverage insurance. I'm not charging any interest. But then you're gonna lie to me and hide the car. Then you're gonna have to pay the car off to get the car. That's the way I work it. I do everything I can to help the customer. But if you're lying to me from jumping and you're trying to hide the car from the day you bought it, there's no reason for me to keep freaking going out my way to help you when you're not going out your way to help me or be honest with me. All right, that's just the way I do it. But then if I've repoed it 2 times, then the second time you got to pay it off. But most of the time, most people are where they're supposed to be, and if they pay the repo fees, they pay what they're behind, we'll put them back in the car. That happens maybe 20% of the time. The other percent of the time it doesn't happen. And then we clean it up, put the car out, back out for sale. All right? But marketing. The way we market is we put out everything we run, we put out on Facebook. We try to get as many likes and follows on Facebook and social media platforms as we can. Like I think we got 10,000 followers on Facebook and I don't know, maybe 11,000 now, whatever it is. But we do a lot of advertising on Facebook, and then we put banners out in front of the car lot. You put a sign up that says no credit check, no interest, people are going to go in because so many people have poor credit. So many, and so many need transportation. So that our business, the whole key to our business is it kind of markets itself. You know, you put those things out there and you tell them what you're offering. You got buying cheap cars that you're charging under $5,000 for, and they're going to be paid off in 6 months. Things build, man. That's why we sell so many freaking cars. You know, I keep my fair share. Let me flip this around for you. I keep my fair share of cheap cars. Now, still, these are cheaper cars that kind of fit along those guidelines. I keep probably about 15, 20 of those in stock. These are something like, we have so many of them right now, more than normal, is because of the repos. But my niche now is I sell cars $10,000 and less is what I pay for them. If I pay I try to stick under $10,000 because once you buy a car that costs more than $10,000, it kind of don't work in this program. So I try to stick to what my niche is. I try to sell cheaper cars, reasonable down payments, don't charge no interest, don't require no full coverage insurance. And the further I get it, the higher I get it, closer I get to $10,000, the harder it is to make the program work. And you just look at the cars, man. You know, I got everything. We took about 10 cars out of repo that can be sold now. Their holding period's up. So I have 135 cars on the lot right now. 135 is a lot of inventory. I don't have to go to auction this week. But I'll go because just in case there's some good buys. I don't mind. I got the other place, the storage center. If I have extra cars, I have extra cars. I'm a little different than most. I'd rather have my money tied up in cars than have my money tied up in other things. If I can get a good price on a car, I know I'm gonna make my money back. You know, I know I'm gonna get good. But and that goes. You know, I go to different auctions, but I go to my main auction here in Long Beach, where I know all the drivers have cars with me, a lot of them. So they have the drivers at auction. I have probably 4 or 5 of them that buy cars from me. I'm friendly with everybody that works over there. I know how the whole system works. I know the mechanics. I know everybody. I try to get every advantage I can, or try to know everything I can about where I buy my cars, so that way I have the best opportunity to buy the best cars I can. Because nothing is more important than buying cars at the right price. And you always make your money off of the buy. You never make your money when you sell. Okay? So let's talk about when to repo. Like I said, I give everybody a 7-day grace period. That's my phone. It's going to ring. It's after hours. You can pick up and call the after hour number. I have an after hour number that my assistant manager manages. You can call that number, and then we'll sell you a car any hours of the night, as long as you know you got the money, and we'll come meet you up here. But we don't do it unless we know you have the money.
Hello.
So when do we repo? We'll give you a 7-day grace period for everybody, unless it's a pickup payment. Now I was going to go over pickup payment. Pickup payments is, so if you were asking, we said we're not going to buy a car more than $1,500. So you're looking for $1,000 down on the car you paid $1,300 for. And so say they don't have the full $1,000. Back in the day, I would do a pickup payment up to $250. And now I do one up to $500, what is a pickup payment is a deferred down payment. So when their first payment is due, they have to pay you the first payment with the first $75, or if they pay every other week, in that 2-week period, they got to pay you the $150 plus the deferred amount on the down payment. If they're 1 day later on a down payment, pickup payment, I pick it up, okay? Because I did them a favor by doing a deferment, and I go pick up the car and then refunded no money of the down payment they put down, none of that. You got to finish your down payment. It's part of your down payment. It's in the terminology. You explain that to them. We tell them that if 1 day late, we'll do the pickup payment. We don't like to do the pickup payment. We don't want to do the pickup payment. We don't recommend you do a pickup payment. But if you do it, and that's what you insist on doing, if you're 1 day late on it, I'm going to get my car. 1 day. It's the rest of your down payment. You should have made that when you purchased the car. We don't like to do it. So my rule in the beginning was you could only do a pickup payment for $250 or less for 2 reasons. One, I needed that money to go buy more inventory, and I didn't like to have to wait for my money. because I need to go buy. I want to buy more inventory. As soon as I sell that car, I'm ready to buy another one. As soon as I sell a car, I'm ready to buy another one. Remember, you're flipping, man. Flipping. That's the key to the business. And then, secondly, is you're setting somebody up for failure. If they can't save enough of the down payment to have it when they come in, the chances are they're going to have it in 2 weeks are not very good, or they're going to have to borrow the money or get a title loan. They do something crazy like that puts themselves behind the 8 ball. So all the way you're trying to help people when you do a pickup payment, it don't help them because they do stupid things to get the money. And I'm just explaining it to you. So now on my car lot, I'll do a pickup payment up to $500 because some of the cars we ask $5,000 down for. I try to get 50% now on the program, 50% down on what I paid for a car. So if I paid $5,000, I could try to get $2,500 down. If I paid $4,000, I try to get $2,000 down. But I have 600 customers on the books, so I can take a little less down on the car, because the higher priced car you get, the tougher it is to make money, to break even on this business. You got to have a lot of customers to be able to absorb it. So that's why when you first start out, you don't even mess with any of that. You buy cars $1,500 and less. You try to get $1,200, $1,300 down on the car, and then you collect $75 a week. Once you get above 300, 400 customers, then you can start looking at what you're going to do. Like right now, I sold 89 cars. I sold 49 cars this month, and I repoed 33. So I only have a net increase of, what is that? 17 cars, 18 cars. Really not that great. I didn't add that many customers on the books, and then I took 33 off. And it's just you got to have high volume. Once you start taking less down, so much less down on the cars, you got to have enough volume to make up for it. So I'm able to do that because I have over 600 customers on the books. Thank God. But we sell a lot of cars, and we're coming out of tax season. I would think, in the next 2 months, I'll probably trim another 100 off of that. I'll probably be down somewhere around 500 customers, 550. I'll carry through to next tax time by selling cars and put people on and with the repos. But I figure I'll have another 100 repos in the next month or two. And the higher volume cars get repoed much more than the lower price cars. The lower price cars, when people it's all their income and you stay on them. For a lower price car, and they only got to pay for 3 or 4 months, you can get them to pay. Usually that you stay on them, they can pay. But once you get somebody to put $2,500 down on the car, and they got to pay $100 every other week, or $100 a week on their car payment, because they didn't want to put a higher down payment down. So what I do now is you can put 30% or 40% of the total price. If you put 30% down, your payments are $100 a week or $200 every other week. If you put 40%, your payments are $75 a week or $150 every other week. 90% of the people do the 30% down. And so, they get a 7-day grace period. So I don't like to do the pickup payments. So if I say I bought the car for $5,000, I would take $2,500 down on it. I'd probably sell that car for somewhere around $8,500, $9,000, just off the top of my head. You can't double your price when you're dealing with more expensive cars, because the price looks astronomical and you're out of whack compared to what everybody else is. It's okay as a buy here, pay here to be a little higher than other places, but you can't be higher than the other buy here, pay here places. You got to be around the same price they are, but you're not charging interest. That's what you're going to differentiate. You'll charge the higher price, but you don't want to differentiate yourself by charging interest, because those thieving mofos, they charge in the customer 150% of retail, and then they're hitting them for 28% interest, And I understand why. Repos are high. Right now, I'm repoing a third of every car I sell. A third, because people are struggling. But the cheaper cars are much easier, because cheaper cars is a catch-22. It's easier in some ways and harder in other ways. Harder, people fight with you more. It's more because you're dealing with cheap cars. No matter how much you check it out and how good it is, you think it is. Things happen, and when you're dealing with people with cheaper money, when something happens to somebody that they bought a $1,000 down car, they don't have $1,000 to go get another car somewhere. That's usually all the money they have. And if something breaks in their car, they are always up here wanting you to fix their stuff for them. So you got to get used to that. That's always a pain in the butt with cheaper cars. Then the people with the $2,500, actually those people, they give up their cars much easier, and they repo much at a higher rate than with the cheaper cars are when I first started. It's kind of crazy. But we're coming off of a time, if you go against with the last 2 years with COVID, the last 2 years for COVID was the buy here, pay here dream. When people got free money, they paid that car off. We had historically, we repoed less than a quarter of our sales. Right now, It's above a third we're repoing. The third, and we came off a month with selling 100 something cars, so that's 30. Just like I'm gonna show you, I showed you on that last form. 33 repos last month. That's a lot of repos. 41 sales is pretty good sales, but the repo 33, that means we had what, net gain of 9. I don't even know where my math was last time. So I added 9 accounts to the books when it's all said and done. So subtract the 31 off, and I add 41, so it's a net gain of 9. That I don't like those odds. I like to add at least 35, 40 accounts on the books with repos. So we got to, for us, our happy spot is we got to sell, even out of tax season, I want to sell 60 cars a month. And that's usually, you saw my sales, you'll see the sheet. I don't mind showing you my numbers to show you what I do works, because I don't believe in just talking. When you give people, I have an advice channel, but I'm a car dealer channel that's telling you how I made it. And I want to give you factual information. I want to give you content that you can use when you open up your car lot. All right, so that's what your pickup payments. Ever want to do, like, some people do $1,000 pickup payments, and if you do $1,000 pickup payment, that's going to be a repo. There's no way that when you're dealing with cheaper cars and the type of people you're dealing with, they can come up with $1,000. That's usually 2 weeks of work, and I'm not paying none of their other bills. Most of the people around here that buy cars from me on a cheaper level like that, they might make $500 a week. That's what kind of income you're looking at. We're in the South. This is in New York City. People don't have great big incomes. If you got a casino job, you might make $30,000, $40,000 a year, but if you're not in a casino job here in the South, the people I sell cars to, they're making 24, 25 grand, or you're dealing with somebody that came off a divorce and they just need a cheaper car, or, you're dealing with people that make $20,000 a year, and a wife might make $7.50 an hour, minimum wage, working at another job. That's the type of people you're dealing with when you sell these type of cars. And most of the times, you sell your higher priced cars. For me, I sold a vast majority of higher priced cars I'm gonna sell during tax time, because that's the only time these people are able to have $2,500, $3,000 in money is by their taxes, unless it's COVID or something like that. You got to know your market. Your niche is cheaper cars, and you're trying to help people out by not gouging them. My prices on my cars are never the highest price out there that you see, because there's buy here, pay here dealers that max out the price, max out the interest, and we're not trying to beat them. We don't charge no interest, so we know we're going to beat there, and I don't have to have the highest price of my car. I bought a car for $5,000. I make $9,000 off of the car. I make $9,000. I sell a car for $9,000. I make $4,000. It's not a bad investment. Now, selling cheaper cars is way more profitable, but you can't. It's hard sourcing those cars. That's why I rebuild cars now, so I can buy my repos. I'll put a motor in them and whatever. So a lot of my cheaper cars are things like Gallants, where the motors are cheap, Corollas. Motors are cheap. Second go around, you can buy a Toyota Corolla motor for $300, 2005, or $600 for a transmission. If you buy a 4-cylinder Altima before 2003, you're looking at a car that the motor is going to cost you, for one, if you got a Nissan motor guaranteed with less than 50,000 miles, you're looking at may cost you $400 or $500. And my mechanics install for me. I probably pay my mechanic $600 to install a motor is what it costs me. That's exactly what I pay them, actually. Then if I do outside work and I do it for another dealer, I charge them the going rate. I charge them to change a motor out for another dealer. I charge them $1,500, and they buy the motor. But we guarantee to work and all that good stuff. I got 4 mechanics that work full time, fixing our cars and putting repos back together. And any wreck cars I buy from auction, Coparts. After COVID, and when COVID was going on, finding cheaper cars was tough. So I bought a lot of wrecked cars that we rebuilt and get them redone, get the title redone, and get it back with a salvage title. But then we were able to sell it, and I'm able to have cheaper cars. You got to look outside the box. I buy a lot of cars on Marketplace. I do my fair share of trade-ins. To find cheaper cars, it's not as easy as it once was. And then at auction, it's not. There's nothing at auction these days that if it's worthwhile, that you're going to find for less than $1,500, $2,000. That's just bottom line. Everything, especially in Mississippi, there's so many dealers that sell just cash cars here that are looking for cheaper cars, because they don't want to buy something terribly expensive, because people usually have $5,000 and less when they're buying cash cars. So they're looking for cars, the same cars that you're looking for. So that makes it tougher to find cheaper cars. So you got to think outside the box to get it. I buy from tow yards, where people tow cars that left outside the road or no insurance cars. I buy at least 10 cars a month from tow yards, and payday loan places. I buy a lot of cars from payday loan places. To source the cheaper cars, is you got to think outside the box, and those are two good areas to find cheaper cars in your area. You got to get out there and got to get to meet people too. You know, I know everybody. I know every tow guy around. I either use them for picking up cars that I caravan mine back from auction. But if I buy something at IAA, I use trucking. Or if I buy something from Coparts, I use trucking. So all the tow guys around here do business for me. So when they get a car, they call me in a heartbeat. Say, hey man, I'll sell it to you for this, or I'll sell it to you for that, and we come up with an agreement. And they'll let you drive the cars if it's drivable. Sometimes they're not drivable. You look at it, you think you know what's wrong with it, and you buy it anyway because you think you can fix it. But anyway, that's kind of where we're at. We had a good month. I got to hit it hard this month. I want to sell 60 cars for June. We sold 41 in in May, which isn't bad, but I figured we left a few on the table. And my employees and my staff, we got to get them out of tax time mode, because at tax time mode, they can sit at their desk and people come in nonstop to buy cars from us. You know, it's a nonstop line. When you're selling 100 cars a month, you know, you get spoiled because people are coming in the door, you're giving them the keys, they go get their own, test drive their own car, they pull it back in the spot, and you're sitting there selling cars. It's nonstop. You know, for us selling during tax season, we sell 9 cars a day, 6 days a week. You know, we even open up 7 days during tax time. And even right now, we have our 24-hour number. You call us, you went to the casino, you want to buy a car, you call us on the 24-hour number, you say you got the money, we verify you got the money, we'll come up here and sell you any car on the lot. But, you know, we do things a little different. We value the customer, and we try to take care of the customer the best we can. But doesn't mean the customer's going to value you. So, anyway. That's where we're at for repos and marketing. Tomorrow, this week, I think the next video we're going to show you is we're going to go to auction and show you what I'm not going to bring you in the lanes, but I'm going to show you the cars that they have at auction and tell you what they went for. Show you what I pay for cars on some of the cars and go like that. And tell you what I charge for cars. Like if I bought a car for $5,000, at auction for $5,000, cash wise I take $7,000, you know, and I'm selling it for on buy here, pay here, I'm taking $9,000. So. But you can't advertise that you're selling it for $7,000. You got to advertise you're selling the car for $9,000, and you make deals with people when they come in. If they want to buy the car for cash, you say, hey, I'm always willing to wheel and deal. I'm always willing to wheel and deal on cars that we finance for people. But I'll tell you, that's kind of the range we try to stay in. But anyway, let's make it a great day, folks. It's great to be in the car business. It's been a long day. I'm a little tired, but I need to get a video out for you guys. And I hope y'all understand. If you leave questions, if you notice, I answer the questions. I do my best. I give you my opinion. That's what I'm going to give you. And things people ask about GPSs and what I do. I told them that. Told them, you know, how we do repos. Maybe next time we'll do an auction and we'll go over the different companies I use. Like for software, my dealer software, I use Frazier. I think it's the best for what I do. And I do Frazier Cloud System. Dealer Car Search is who I use to do my web page. I do my Google advertisement. And that's about it. And we're going to go over some other things that we have companies we use and try to help you with that. You know, when you first get going, you don't know who to call, who to use, and get set up with everybody. What the best prices are. I'll help you and tell you what I go with. All right, that's it. Great used car business, man. Why not live the buy here, pay here dream with me? Can't beat it.